My name is Quinn DeStefano. I'm an occupational therapy student with the University of Mary, and my doctoral capstone experience took place this semester, spring of 2021, at Montana State University, working to promote mental wellness in college student athletes. Today I'll go over the purpose of the project, the background and need, literature review, site profile, theoretical basis, planning and implementation stages of the project, and my outcome measurements. The purpose of the project was to promote optimal academic and athletic performance among student athletes at MSU through mental wellness promotion. I did this by offering mental health and mental skills workshops. I worked to reduce stigma. I developed a web-based toolkit for coaches and athletes that addressed mental health and wellness in a comprehensive manner. The NCAA has stated that mental health is an increasing area of concern for student athletes. Literature also states that every athletic department should cultivate a positive environment for mental well-being in order to optimally promote social, academic, and athletic performance among student athletes. Athletes are experiencing a unique set of stressors during their college experience. They have all of the stress and pressure involved with being a college student, in addition to the stress and pressure involved with being an athlete. So they may experience public visibility, celebrity status on campus, pressure to perform. This may be internal or external. Sport-related travel that can take away from the time they have for some of their other commitments, in addition to all the time that they spend in athletics, rendering their academic endeavors to be a little bit more difficult. And then the transition from youth to senior sport can also be challenging. Teammate and coach relationship dynamics can either be supporting their mental health or it can be a stressor. Stigma around mental illness may also be something that college students are experiencing, as well as identity and having an identity that's defined by success in sport. So student athletes really need some strong mental health support from their athletic department, which told me that this program was really needed. I started the program by doing a needs assessment with the site mentor, Aaron Gersonic. I did an interview with him, and then once I arrived on campus, I conducted athlete surveys and coach interviews that gave me some really great information about what athletes and coaches need regarding mental health at MSU specifically. The literature review was a key part to this project because it enabled me to make the toolkit and the workshops evidence-based, and so this took place throughout the semester. I looked at core mental health concerns for student athletes and identified which ones would be appropriate to include in the toolkit. I also looked at help-seeking behavior among athletes and found that student athletes are less likely to seek help than non-athletes, and racial and ethnic minority athletes are even less likely to seek help than their white peers, which indicates that there's an unmet mental health need in the student athlete population. I also looked at what other programs are doing to promote mental wellness in student athletes, and I looked at what the literature says about how to best go about that. And I used this in addition to the needs assessment to decide what content to include in the toolkit and workshops, as well as how to structure my program. And then once I had identified the content, I also reviewed those in literature to make sure that, again, everything is evidence-based. I also looked at the site profile to get a good idea of the demographics of the site, the resources of the site, etc. Something important to note here is the stage of development for the student athletes. I put them in the young adulthood period of Erickson's stages of psychosocial development. That was hard to say. And it's important to note that this time period is really a time of significant psychological growth and development. And then it's also important to remember that though the general demographics of the athletic department remain the same yearly, a class is always graduating and a class is always coming in, and so that advertising and spreading awareness about athlete wellness department and about the toolkit is really just going to be so important now and in the future. The theoretical basis of the project came from the Ecology of Human Performance framework and then the health belief model. Ecology of Human Performance is an occupational therapy framework that looks at the person with the skills and abilities and background that they have within the context, which for this project was Montana State University Athletic Department, and then how those factors interact to enable them to perform in the tasks that they need to complete, which again are that athletics and academics. Health belief model helped me to structure the content and delivery of the program itself. So this one gives me a good idea of how a person and their modifying factors, their age, where they come from, etc., it may influence their health beliefs, their perceptions about mental health, whether they are able to seek help, whether they know where to go to, whether they know that it's important for their performance, etc., and then the cues to action, and how all these factors can be formulated in a way that will promote optimal health behaviors that would then support their performance. The planning stage of this project happened throughout, especially during the first part of the project. But my personal experience in the athletic department at University of Wyoming helped me plan this project and really inspired me to do it. Faculty mentor discussions with faculty from University of Mary, site mentor discussions again with Aaron helped me plan this project, the needs assessment, and then support staff meetings at MSU with multiple key people from the department that gave me some good ideas and feedback and information about the site itself. Again, looking through that evidence and then considering my theoretical basis, those were all important for the planning stage. And then implementation. So I developed that toolkit. We'll go ahead and look at it real quick. I won't go too into depth here, but here's the wellness home. And so for student athletes, we have mental health, optimal performance, academic skills, eating and nutrition, diversity. And these are very comprehensive. And they give us, I'll just click on one to give us a good idea of what it looks like. But they have resources, they have some self-help type of skills, as well as information about the effect of mental health on performance, etc. And then the athletic staff section is right here. So we have the athletic staff with suicide prevention, on-campus, off-campus resources, promoting performance, mental health conversation, signs of distress, impact on performance, and risk factors. And all of these help coaches to support their athletes in mental health, and the wellness page helps athletes to support themselves, though athletic staff may also use some of that information from the wellness page to support athletes. And then the workshops took place throughout the semester. We had some great participation in those, as you can see. I also created a stigma reduction effort. Not only were the workshops and the wellness page important for stigma, but I also created a social media tool in collaboration with the communication and marketing department. And then feedback and editing, I asked multiple staff members and the counseling and psychological services to look through the toolkit and give me some feedback there so that I could make some changes. And then also dissemination. I presented this what I did with this project, and here's the link to the YouTube video. This was for the coaches and athletic staff at MSU. Here's the social media post. It was on Instagram and Twitter. I asked an athlete to send me a photo of him in his athletic gear, and then have a quote about mental health. And so this was a contact method that research supports as a way to reduce stigma. And then my outcomes, I used a pre-test, post-test method. I also did athlete focus group surveys and coach focus group surveys to give me both qualitative and quantitative feedback. And then again, with a social media post, I looked at the likes and the shares to determine how many people had possibly been contacted with this. So athletes were very pleased with the workshops, and coaches were also very pleased. They felt that they were helpful for the team's performance, and they had some very positive qualitative statements about the helpfulness. The wellness page was also had some very positive reviews from athletes and coaches. They rated it. I asked athletes to look at the wellness page for 5 to 10 minutes and then answer some questions about it. And so they found it to be useful. They said they were likely to use it and that they were likely to recommend it to others. They also felt more satisfied with Athlete Wellness Department after viewing the wellness page. So whether or not they use the wellness page, just knowing that it's there really helps them feel more supported. And then again, coaches were very pleased with the athletic staff page, and they were likely to recommend the wellness page to their athletes. And then the impact. Athletes who participated in the workshop and or looked at the wellness page were more likely to have sought help than athletes who had not participated in either. So this was a positive finding. And then among athletes who had participated in the workshops and or looked at the wellness page, there was 100% awareness of what Athlete Wellness Department does. And this was compared to non-participating athletes that were 71% aware. In the pre-test total, 86% were aware of what Athlete Wellness Department does. So this just indicated that the project really helped develop that awareness for athletes about where to go for mental health help. There was also an increase in satisfaction with mental health services provided by Athlete Wellness Department from 86.2% at the beginning of semester to 96.2% at the end. So really the program had a good impact on the department, and athletes and coaches were pleased with it. Here are my references, and thank you so much for being part of this presentation.